Hornets podcast. David Walker joining us for Fun Fridays. We're going to do the Hive Life at the end of the show, but we might as well go Hive Live as soon as the show starts. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. We're free and available on all platforms. That includes YouTube, which you're watching live, presumably on right now. If you haven't checked us out yet, go subscribe. Growing pretty fast. We really appreciate everybody's support. It really is impressive, and appreciate everybody, what you guys are doing, helping us help you guys out. So again, go check us out on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter, Walker Mail, Doug Branson, LOH, David B. Walker, and at Locked On Hornets. Are you telling me we got another big man trade proposition to talk about today?
Yeah. Should we roll the intro?
You want to?
I want to, because it's gonna be good for the audio if we do.
All right, let's go ahead. Put the open in.
You are Locked On Hornets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
In a minute, cuz we live.
For some reason on Hive Lives, I didn't think we did the whole first open and then the second open thing. I didn't think we did that, but for some reason, I don't know why I thought that, but that's why that was that whole hiccup. Can I get into the big man trade talk now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to help you out with the audio edit. I want to
help.
make sure the intro's there. Listen, we got branding to take care of here. So yes, now go ahead. I just want to remind everyone we are live on YouTube right now. Chat with us. Last show we took a lot of shouts from the international folks. So I'm going to open it up to both the international viewers and the national viewers. Let us know if you're listening from a different state than North Carolina. Holler. If you're listening to us in a different city in North Carolina other than Charlotte, holler at us in the chat. I want to shout you out.
There's going to be so many different places. Everybody's just going to be putting up their destinations here.
Shout your home.
Belly Plays writes in, is this you guys' first YouTube stream? If this is going to be the thing moving forward, count me in. We do this, I mean, maybe not every Friday, but pretty much like
Try to do it every Friday, once a week. Yep.
Yeah. David Walker joining us. David, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing great, guys. I'm just getting my shoe research going. So, Doug, I know you got a lot of questions. I want to get to those. Let's don't forget about that.
I love that your shoe research is happening as soon as we go live, not before the show.
Right.
Now, that's very me, and I like that.
Yeah, we're starting off really haphazardly, so like trying to figure out what's going on with the intro. I didn't know how to do this.
Hive
Even though I've
Live,
been
baby.
doing the show for a long time now. I still didn't know how to bring everything in. But hopefully we can start to hit the ground running here, talking about a new guy that could be available out there for the Charlotte Hornets to get, except he's kind of an old new guy. It's Richaun Holmes, somebody that we've talked about a lot even just last season. And in free agency, that seemed to be the player that the Hornets really could make a true signing. And then when he signed for the amount of money he did, making about 10, 11, 12, 13 on an ascending contract with Sacramento, it was a little bit lower than what you thought Charlotte would be interested in offering him, except they just never did. And now it's reported that Richaun Holmes is on the trade market because the Kings are kinging. You know, they do what they do. Buddy Hield, he's on the trade block. So is De'Aaron Fox. Maybe they want to get guys that fit in better with De'Aaron Fox, whatever. We know that Richaun Holmes is available. David, let's talk with you first, because I think Miles Turner's injury happened since the last time we discussed anything. Also, we've got the Richaun Holmes thing going on now. Christian Wood was thrown out there by a John Hollinger. Where are you this week on the Charlotte Hornets need to make a trade for a center? The Charlotte Hornets don't need to make a trade for a center.
Oh man, need. That's such an interesting word when we're talking about the Hornets. And yeah, they're big man. You know, something popped into my mind though, watching a former Charlotte Hornet big man with the Phoenix Suns currently right now, named Bismack Biyombo. And it was just that great point guards can make anyone look really, really good. No shots at Biz, but he seems to be catching a lot more balls these days, dunking them with a lot more efficiency because he's playing with Chris Paul. And I'm starting to think that LaMelo is really, whoever comes in here is going to be elevated. I mean, look what he's doing for Miles Plumlee right now. I mean, when he's not shooting backward shots, he's really being efficient these days and being impactful. So I'm starting to think, guys, that they're no longer working with the timeline and the window for this team. I mean, they're really working with the LaMelo timeline. And if they've got an opportunity to add someone in the middle that's going to take LaMelo's game and improve this team to another level, I think they really have to start looking at it. I mean, honestly, I like what the team's doing. I don't want to lose any of these fun pieces they have right now either. But they've got to start thinking about when they're going to have these opportunities to strike. They really don't have a history of being successful in free agency. That may change with LaMelo. But if they're going to be able to pounce on someone that's looking to move on from a deal they've already made, it may be the time to do it.
So I want to go to the Richaun Holmes piece. I mean, I think it would qualify as one of the kind of smaller deals the Hornets could go after because, as you said, he signed 4 years, $46 million, so he'll make $11 million next year, $12 million the next season, and then almost $13 million in the final year of his deal. Richaun Holmes, a guy, I mean, he's going to give you some block shots, going to give you some tough defense, going to go after loose balls, hustle plays, dunks, but I mean, offensively, he's pretty limited. So, I mean, I think if they can swing a deal, I mean, it's a lot easier to make that salary match than it would be for a Sabonis or even a Turner or some other kind of bigger deal. So I think they could make that work a little bit easier. It's really, do the Sacramento Kings really want to play with the Hornets, or are they trying? It seems like they're going back and forth with Philadelphia right now over Ben Simmons. And so you've had Holmes' name floated out there, Halliburton, Fox. It seems like, the Sixers want Fox. There's all kinds of names are floating around, and I'm not sure it means anything for the Hornets at this point.
Well, I mean, this is what the Kings do. They don't know what they want to do. I mean, they're like, all right, well, we signed Richaun Holmes, and now we're going to trade him this offseason. We're going to make this 3-guard lineup a thing with Tyrese Halliburton, De'Aaron Fox, and Davion Mitchell, and now we might trade these guys, and even De'Aaron Fox is on the table because it's not working this year. They had a playoff mandate, apparently, too, from the ownership. I think we've heard that a couple of times via NBA podcast, and now it's not necessarily working as well. I actually think they're not crazy far off the standings, if I'm not mistaken. I want to save my bandwidth, so I don't want to look up the standings right now. Either way, I think the Kings, they just have no clue what they want to do with these players, even if they sign them the previous free agency.
The other thing about Richaun Holmes, just to note, is that he's had like 2 eye injuries this season, a pretty gruesome one.
Yeah.
And he's going to have to wear goggles. And so and he's been out for a little. I think he's just come back from the COVID list. I mean, it's a small thing, but I think you got to investigate that and make sure that this guy that you're bringing in is going to be able to play effectively the rest of the season with that kind of injury that I think would affect your ability to kind of time up blocks and different things like that. So just something to note.
No, for sure. I mean, how many effective Hornets players have we seen wear goggles? The only one that comes to mind is Kurt Rambis.
Yeah, early on, who's busy destroying the Lakers franchise.
Yeah, I think he's liking inappropriate tweets out there somewhere. That's the only guy I can think of. Classic Horace Grant stuff, never played for the Hornets. We don't have any other goggles like that.
I feel like I know he never did. This is, again, I mentioned this, I think, on yesterday's show. It's like that situation where everybody thinks that the comedian Sinbad did a movie where he was a genie, but that's not actually the case. But it's like a mass number of people believe.
The Mandela
that's
effect,
Shaquille.
right?
That's
Mandela
Shaquille
effect. Thank you. It's the Mandela effect. So I have that. It's a singular Mandela effect. No one else does. I'm not going to claim that this is a thing that people think. But in my head, I see Matt Geiger at some point having goggles.
Of course,
I don't know
because it's
why,
ridiculous.
But the Geiger goggles are a thing in my head, and I can't get it out.
Yeah. I mean, it's a ridiculous thing. Maybe, is there anybody that even had one eye injury where they had to do the LeBron face mask, Rip Hamilton thing? I don't even know if there was any of that going on.
I feel like Cody Zeller must have worn a mask at some point. I mean, he broke his face. He broke his face to kick off this year, so I don't know.
It's so Cody. It feels inappropriate to laugh at too, but yeah.
I'm gonna make this my like show thing where I'm gonna find a Hornet or Bobcat with a mask.
I mean, Crash never had to wear any sort of protective thing on his face at all.
MKG
is that I know, right? Those are all great entrances. Like I don't know. I would think Crash is the name that would most likely be the guy to wear a mask because of the nickname itself. But maybe we'll give Doug some time to go look at this. Yeah, I want to talk about Richaun Holmes a little bit more. So I think it's really interesting, especially where we thought the Hornets were going to go after him in free agency. Eventually, it's the Sacramento Kings that end up with him. So let's talk about Richaun Holmes. We'll also get to the shoe game that David started to do research on as soon as the show started during my bad entrance. BetOnline would like to wish you a happy new betting year as they continue the march to the playoffs and beyond. BetOnline remains the #1 spot for all the best sports wagering action for 2022. They have a new year, so they have a new updated desktop and mobile website to sign up today, and you can receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use promo code LOCKEDON to get started. From football, basketball, hockey, boxing, UFC, even right to your favorite Vegas casino game. You don't have to wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for 2022. BetOnline is the fastest and the easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts. Let's talk more Richaun Holmes and shoe game coming up next on the Locked On Hornets podcast.
This is Locked On Hornets.
All right, so we've got Al, or we've got the question how. Like, how did Miles do that? Can you help us end this debate with so much, an unbelievable amount on the line?
Doug, I respect you to the nth degree, but Walker, I'm telling you, every single person who saw that reacted that way. Some of us just were tighter than others, and I just had to release this from my body.
It's time for more of the Locked On Hornets podcast.
Let's get to some of the comments. Jarrett writes in that Cody did last year. I don't remember that.
So I'm seeing Cody Zeller in a Blazers mask.
Of course,
but
yeah,
I haven't tracked down.
I've got someone with a face mask in a Hornets uniform. I don't know if you guys want to venture any guesses.
Can you share your screen? Can you reveal it to us?
I don't know. I was really trying to figure it out. I can't think of anybody that has the mask or the goggles.
You would not have gotten this, but he did use 3 goggles. I don't know if that
Marvin Williams.
Yes. There's
Oh,
a face
okay.
mask. I don't remember him wearing this. No.
That's a riddle.
Yeah, that's a good one. But no, I've got a picture with him with a clear face mask on.
Okay, must have taken a sneak one to the dome.
All right.
You know, it's
Marvin
funny
Williams.
now. If you search Hornets face mask, you get a lot of
COVID
It's
mask, right?
It's a tough Google search. Now.
Now because of COVID. Also, we do have a comment that leads us to the Richaun Holmes point a little bit more. Daniel Tapp writing in. Always appreciate Daniel Tapp for listening. I feel like Richaun Holmes' contract being as long as it is and fully guaranteed makes it too much of a risk given his age. And this is the point I wanted to bring up. It's the biggest negative a part of Richaun Holmes, that and the lack of shooting, especially compared to P.J. Washington. If you look at Richaun Holmes, the guy's going to be guaranteed money the next 3 years. The last year is a player option, which presumably by that time he's past 30. You have to imagine he would opt in at that point in his career. He's 28 years old, 100 days past 28 years old. So, like, he's right in the thick of it. For me, I think it's the length of the contract that's the biggest problem, way more than the price is. And if you look at what he's done the last 3 seasons for Sacramento, the last 2 before we started talking about him in free agency, there's a reason that Hornets fans knew his name so well and were so excited about him. If you look at the beginning of this year, before the eye laceration, which he had to miss 7 games due to, and he also entered COVID and health and safety protocols. So he's kind of been out of it ever since like December. It's been a rough go for him here recently. Before all that, though, I mean, the guy was a legitimate beast. So if you look at the leaders in true shooting percentage at the start of December, Richaun Holmes was number 1. And if you look at some of the games now, the guy is still, I think, at a 70 effective field goal percentage, and he's like at a 72 true shooting percentage. So he's a lob threat. He's averaging 12 points a game, which is on par with what he's done the last couple of seasons. He's still one of the better rim protectors in all of the NBA. If you look at expected field goal percentage compared to what it actually is, people shooting against him at the rim, it's really good. It's like top 15, even for him being a little bit of a smaller center. 6'10" is what he's listed at. I would venture to say 6'9".
And doesn't need the ball a lot.
No, he doesn't.
Which is good.
And isn't playing with a point guard. He's playing with a scoring point guard and Fox out there.
And so I guess my question is, at $11, $12, $13 million a year for, again, probably too long, a little longer than you're comfortable with, Mason Plumlee passes better than Richaun Holmes. That's it. Ain't none else better. Mason Plumlee does. P.J. Washington shoots better than Richaun, can probably do a little more offensively for you, except he's not the lob threat Richaun is, but he can be a little bit of a lob. Like, that's the comparison. Do you feel good enough about PJ giving you that added shooting, even though he's not right now, but over a season sample, he'll give you the shooting, compared to Richaun, who is clearly better defensively, and even with PJ's nice rim protection at his size, Rashawn's like probably a top 15, top 20 rim protector in the league. Certainly, like, it becomes a strength for you. Like, that's the tough one. I could understand why the Hornets would be interested.
I could too. I mean, I understand the concern about the length of the contract, but it's $10 million, $11 million. So it's like movable. Like, it's not going to be something that I don't think that they'll be absolutely stuck with.
No, yeah, and I think that was my concern more so when we thought it was going to be at $15 million per when we were talking about it in free agency. And I think that's why that was always something. Hey, look, this is somebody that relies a lot on his athleticism, his bounce to go contest with people at the rim. That's probably going to wane as he gets closer to 30, and you've got him on the books.
This is what I want right here. So I want a guy who can just pin the ball on the backboard.
Right.
Yeah, like Mason's not doing that. Mason's not doing that right there.
No, Hornets fans, go watch the game against the Kings at the beginning of the season where he destroyed us. He missed one shot, scored 23 points, grabbed 20 rebounds, and just slapped us. I mean, it was brutal. Like, he's a good player when healthy. Hopefully he can come around this season because he's not been very healthy lately.
Yeah, I guess of course, it all depends on what you would give up, right? Like, how much is the identity of this team going to shift with whomever they would send out? I mean, one of the things I like right now, and one of the things that has helped the Hornets be where they are, is just that they have so many guys that can offensively produce for you on any given night, right? Like, I mean, it's Gordon, it's Terry, it's LaMelo. It's like, they've got so many of those guys. Are they going to remove one of those guys and lose some of that extra shooting they've got there, Kelly Oubre, so that's what they're going to have to figure out. How long do they want to extend the current identity of this team without having anyone in the middle? I don't know.
So here, let me throw this out, and then I do want to get to this. I got to figure out how to get these LaMelo Ball shoes. So I need David to help me on LaMelo Ball shoes. But let me throw this out. No picks. Mason Plumlee, James Bouknight, Richaun Holmes.
So then, Doug, you're back to having very little depth in the middle, right? One of your concerns earlier on in the season, if you ship out Plumlee, but I guess you're no worse. You're no worse off because you've upgraded the spot. You still don't have any depth.
Yeah, I mean, and plus Kai Jones, that becomes your first round pick. Yeah, I'll do it. Bouknight for Mason Plumlee. I'll go after Richaun Holmes that way.
If Bouknight ever becomes a star for this team, I'm gonna remind Walker several years from now how many times he traded Bouknight on this show.
I'm going to be happy about it. Are you not doing it? Are you keeping Bouknight?
I think it's more to David's point that it is, and that's what makes this tough, is that you got to ship. I like Plumlee's contract makes it all work, and if you don't want to lose PJ Washington, and you're stuck if Richaun Holmes does get hurt, you're actually worse.
Think about how dangerous defensively they are with Richaun and PJ, man. Like
if Mason gets hurt, you're worse. So I don't know.
Right, but like if you bring Richaun, he comes in there, he battles against the bigger bodies, and then all right, well now we want to be more potent offensively. We want to clamp you down even more so defensively. All right, cool. We'll just throw Richaun Holmes out there, and then PJ can do it too in a small ball lineup. I just think defensively it really helps him out.
Yeah, I mean, and guys, we fall in love with the recent streak they've gone on and how fun they are. But in the back of my mind, I'm just thinking if they ever get to the playoffs and when this game slows down, you're scared that it's just going to be a bloodbath, right? When the game goes to the half court and they have nothing in the middle to contend with anyone with another team that does. So that's what they have to be thinking. I mean, they know it's coming at some point, like this major deficiency in the middle. So I don't know. I don't know how soon they're going to press the upgrade button there.
Shout out Christian from Norway. Go Yidams. There you go. But he's right. We don't need more offense. They need more defense right now. I mean, Mo Bamba would certainly be a fit. It's just I'm not sure that Orlando is really ready to part.
Yeah, I like Mo Bamba. He's the reclamation project you trade for. Rashawn's established. He helps you win now. But also, do you need another reclamation? I like Mo. I think you could use him.
If you're going to trade, it better be for a player that you are confident can play the position effectively and in the playoffs. Is a playoff player.
And I think Rashawn's that guy.
Does it surprise you guys at all that they haven't gone this route of just grabbing one of these aging veteran free agents that's been passed around this season at all. I mean, that would be kind of be a plug and play type thing. I know that some of these guys especially may mess up the chemistry on this team, but I mean, it's something people are doing. A lot of people are talking about it. I don't know. It just seems like they haven't even looked that way.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they kind of did that with Mason Plumlee before everybody else did. They went and got their old man and put him in there. Like, they just traded out, Bismack. Instead, they got Mason Plumlee, who's, I mean, Mason's probably older than Bismack, maybe. They're probably pretty similar.
No one knows how old Bismack is.
That's true.
Shout out Petey, QC, born and raised. Tell us where you're from. We want to know where you're from. We'll put it up on the chat. We'll shout you out. I want to talk about. Can we talk about these shoes?
Yeah,
for goodness.
Dean's. All right, fine. No trade talk.
Doug. Search Elliot Perry, Charlotte Hornets.
Elliot Perry.
That's going to help him get him.
No. You're going to find some.
All right, let me get these shoes up here.
Yeah.
This is what I want. I want these MBO1 colorways for the Hornets. Now, David, you are our shoe guru, our shuru. Can you help me get these? I think, February 4th, right, is...
Okay, well, my first tip is February 2nd. So if you
go
go
on
on February
date.
4th, you're guaranteed to miss them. So that's what we'll start. February 2nd. As of right now, everything's getting pushed back. But yeah, so Doug, when I got these around Christmas time, the original whatever colorway, Mars Red or whatever color that is, I mean, I went to Puma. Now, I was ready to go at like 10 o'clock. And I think if you go there now, they've got either a coming soon or a countdown clock of some sort, or they will once we get closer. You just want to be on that at 10 a.m. Eastern time or whatever time they drop. And I don't think you'll have a problem. I think you're going to be okay. They may go down at there. Now we're talking. See,
I mean, are we doing this right now? Are we buying this mint upper deck Elliot Perry with the goggles?
53% off the top. Yes, absolutely.
$1.88. That's a steal. Look at that.
Somebody put that in the background. We can post that. Elliot Perry. I believe Milwaukee Buck Elliot Perry too. Like, that's a name I thought I'd go the rest of my life without hearing again.
That's
but
great.
Thank you, David, for bringing him up.
Yeah.
Okay. David, what do you think about the LaMelo mix and match red and green shoe?
Interesting. Are you a Rick and Morty fan?
So I'm a Rick and Morty fan. So is that part of the colorway? I thought it was. So it's the mix is part of the colorway.
Yeah, it's a Rick and Morty collaboration, I guess. I think they're on the back or the tongue of either one of those shoes. I'm not a big fan of shoes that are just not the same color at all. Like T-Mac did it a little bit, and that was kind of cool. But I would, once in a while, I guess. But I'm not.
You heard it here, LaMelo Ball fans. Thumbs down from David Walker. Let him know on the chat what you think about that.
David, I got to ask you, were you a fan of the T-Max? Because that was the shoe that I hopped on first and foremost. Compared to any other shoe out there, I had to have the T-Max. I got the T2s when those were released, and I feel like those were really popular at the time. And that was the wave that I rode, especially at that time.
Yeah, back when Adidas was doing their thing, I liked them, and he made them look cool, right? So they had the little thing going across the tongue or the toe. I liked them. Yeah, T-Mac had a good shoe.
All right, David. It looks like the All-Star jerseys, new All-Star jerseys have leaked again.
What is happening, guys? What is going on?
Well, so why do they keep leaking, and what do you think about that All-Star jersey?
It's awful. I mean, that's one of the worst ones I've ever seen in my life. First of all, why is it gray?
Gray. What is the obsession with? So this is Jordan Brand, right? This is Jordan Brand.
Yes. Again,
what is the obsession with Jordan Brand and gray?
This looks like somebody did clip art on this thing and just grabbed every necessary logo.
Gray honestly, background. That's all you. That's all you pick for your layout.
And it's a honeycomb. It's a honeycomb again. This is not even in Charlotte. I felt there's a diamond logo on the back, but where's the diamonds for the 75th anniversary?
This is brutal. Yeah, 75th anniversary. This is what you're coming with? 75th anniversary. The other part about this is it's an Anthony Davis jersey. I mean, a little presumptive. I don't know. We don't know if Anthony Davis.
I don't have a picture of the back, but the leak was of an Anthony Davis.
But guys, I mean, this is Jordan.
We don't know
Brand.
if this is. So this is a report.
This always happens, though, right?
We're always
we don't know, but maybe.
But it always ends up being
the thing.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is right. This is the problem because we got the yellow ones. They tried to pay homage to the Indiana Pacers, right, when they were playing in Indianapolis, and that one wasn't great. But that one was better than this, though. And then the ones in Charlotte, the all-black ones, It's funny because if you grade on a curve, those actually weren't bad. I mean, compared to this one, I think you're right, David. Just first opinion is these are among the worst that I've seen. I hate these.
It's awful. It's
Yeah.
awful.
These are
They have such a layup, and you don't want to go back to it every year, but like the throwbacks when they just traditional NBA All-Star red, white, and blue, you could go back to that whenever you want, guys. No one, you can do that. 75th anniversary, maybe dig into the archives a little bit. This looks like the future. Remember when the baseball did like the throw ahead or the look ahead uniforms were like futuristic? This is just very bad. I mean, the Kia logo looks the best, and that's
yeah. What is that? It looked weird as hell up there. Yeah, I think we can go with the desert jerseys, wearing your own jersey, home and away, and maybe the blue and red. I think those are the ones that I'm okay with. Top 3 at the top of the dome.
Shout out Josiah from Goldsboro.
Hello, Goldsboro.
NC. I'm trying to find some famous basketball players from Goldsboro. I'm coming up a little short.
All right, let me give you some time to do that, and then move on to the next segment. We'll preview this game against Oklahoma City and talk about some other things with the Charlotte Hornets going forward. But do want to remind you, it's the new year, so that means you have New Year's resolutions. If yours is about
Jimmy Graham from Goldsboro.
There you go. Okay, I did know that. Yeah, Miami from North Carolina, awesome stuff. Jimmy Graham. Either way.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. I needed to shout Jimmy Graham into this Hornets podcast.
No, it's really important. Just make sure you apologize to Built Bar. I'll make sure to put that in the timestamp too. Built Bar is the protein bar that tastes like a candy bar, maybe even better than a candy bar. Built Bar makes it easier to stick to your resolution because it tastes so good. You'll want to eat it, unlike any other protein bar, which can be chalky or waxy or taste like a chemical spill. But it's also healthy for you, so maybe you too can go to the pros like Jimmy Graham did. Built Bars are fantastic, covered in 100% chocolate, but you have some staple flavors like raspberry, banana bread is very good. Go to Built.com, use promo code LOCKED15, and get 15% off your order. Use promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at Built.com. Let's preview this game against OKC, coming up next on the Locked On Hornets podcast.
This is Locked On Hornets.
And listen, as long as you play James Bouknight, a win will always be in sight.
Thanks for making Locked On Hornets your first listen every day.
Right?
We are free and available.
They'll show some fight.
On all your platforms. Now make your second listen Locked On Bets, your daily one-stop shop for all your gambling needs.
It's time for more of the Locked On Hornets podcast.
Also got a Kobe White shout out from Goldsboro. Kobe White, is he still the leading scorer in North Carolina high school history? I think that's correct.
So.
Yeah, unreal high school career for Kobe White.
Got some shout outs, some international shout outs too. We got Ismail from Morocco. We've got Reese from Norfolk, England.
Yeah, I think you said he was from Norway earlier, and I was pretty sure he said Norfolk.
Well, no, Christian is from Norway.
Okay.
That's a repeat. I did get someone wrong last show. I apologize.
I hope these are real.
I apologize. Things are moving fast here, folks. I'm doing the best I can. I just had a baby. Yeah, I'm going to blame it on the baby, of course.
Wow.
Yeah. Listen, baby is. I recommend everyone get a baby because you can blame stuff on the baby, and people give you a free pass. People give me free passes all over the place. Like, oh yeah, you just had a kid. It's okay. Yeah, blame it on the baby.
So, at what age are you just going to have to make another one though for you to have that excuse?
No, I think it's lifetime. You blame it. I think blame it when they're 30.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, 8 years old, 6 years old. Doesn't
matter.
My
parents do. I understand. I understand completely. This game against Oklahoma City. Look at the schedule. Going forward for the Charlotte Hornets team, there's not one unwinnable one, which I don't know if there's a game that exists for the Charlotte Hornets that you would deem unwinnable.
Well, that's the difference in this Hornets team now.
So at least where they're going to be a significant underdog, there's not going to be that game on in the near
not
near
until
future.
I would say Miami will be the biggest test, the next biggest test. That's February 5th.
Okay.
And then they play Chicago a few nights later on ESPN on Wednesday, February 9th. What did I just do there? It's the baby.
Well, when's the LeBron game? Because we know that's impossible.
If he plays, it would be January 28th against the Lakers.
Ooh, a week away. Okay.
Yeah. Unless LeBron gets traded back to Cleveland. We don't know.
But look, we be streak busting, man. Like maybe LeBron plays.
This could be the year.
New year, new Hornets.
You know what? Be careful. Be careful.
I'm just telling you. Look, hey, Philadelphia.
That's a powerful streak.
Check. Boston, In Boston?
No.
Check. National TV? Check.
LeBron.
I'm ready.
I appreciate
King James.
I appreciate your check, but I would check and find out when the last time the Hornets have beaten LeBron.
I'm telling you, I'm ready. Put it down. I'm ready to go. We're going to beat LeBron. Are we going to beat OKC tonight?
Step.
David, let's start
That's
with
the
you.
next step.
What are you looking at with OKC tonight? What are the players you want to see continue play well? Let's get your Thunder thoughts for this evening.
Well, guys, I mean, we were in this situation a week ago, and we didn't even talk about that game last Friday, and we all saw what happened. I mean, this is another case of coming off a very good week, a lot of chatter. People are feeling good, come back home on a Friday night. Can they handle, what's been going well so far for them this week? Can they come out here and do the job that they should do, which is beat, a lesser team, but one that's probably going to fight and try and win the game, certainly. So I mean, that's what we need to see, guys, because last week was a huge letdown against the Magic. And can they handle the prosperity that they've been able to generate for themselves this week? I mean, I like to think so, because this team has bounced back, especially from game to game. But can they think back to last week, remind themselves they can't come out and just roll the ball out and get a W?
Yeah, it's going to be at home. That's a big boost. They've played well at home this season. The Hornets have struggled against the Western Conference, so it'd be nice to pick up another Western Conference win. Oklahoma City loves to play in the paint, and so do the Hornets, so it's going to be a battle down low. I didn't realize the Hornets were playing, just in terms of generating points in the paint, a lot of it has to do with the pace of play, but they're doing really well in that department, paint and three. I mean, they're very sort of Houston Rockets-esque in terms of their shot selection and quality of shot selection. But it's going to be, can you deny Oklahoma City in the paint? The other thing I'm watching for, obviously, Walker. It's SGA. It's Miles Bridges. Miles Bridges, get it. He's on the, kind of top 10 in Eastern Conference forwards. SGA, not nowhere to be found on the top 10 of Western Conference guards.
Oh, no. SGA. Yeah, like it's finally a good conversation to have between those two on who you might want for the future, because SGA gets the massive extension right off the bat because he was so good. But he's been he had a stretch this year where he wasn't scoring, he wasn't efficient. He's usually a guy that shoots 50 from the field and is a good three shooter, and now you look at him shooting just 42. He has had a really nice last 5 games with Oklahoma City. You have to wonder, is this just one of those things where, Doug, you used to talk about this all the time, just having a player rot with some organization set to trust the process and build. It's been SGA with a bunch of young dudes down there, and so now it used to be maybe Miles wasn't in the greatest situation, and it was SGA going to the Clippers that had some talent. Now here's the Hornets having some talent, and it's OKC trying to do anything to compete. And our big get from trading all these pieces, it's Josh Giddey, who's been good.
I was going to say,
but
Giddey surprised me.
I mean, these rookies, you also have Poku. They've got 15 games for a reason, or they've got 15 wins, I should say, for a reason, and that's the 14, I should say. It's interesting to see now these two comparisons.
Yeah, rough start 2022 for the Thunder. Only one win since the turn of the year. So, this is a game that the Hornets really just need to take care of business and feel good about themselves. Does it feel like Miles has he taken the mantle from that? I mean, are we there yet? I mean, has the weight shifted that much in Miles's favor?
He's been good. The conversation used to be Devontae Graham. Do you get him? Is Devontae and Miles good enough to suffice passing on a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? It's interesting. I think you're seeing the outlier bad year from Shai, because every season prior to that, he's been just phenomenal. And whatever role you ask of him, this is the first time we've seen him have a bad stretch. And this recent one, by the way, it's not been the last 5 games. He's been on a tear. But now Miles, his shooting is down. He's got to get the shooting up. If Miles gets the back to the 36, just your average 3-point shot, then that's what's going to help him, make as much money as possible, because everything else a part of his game is really good right now. That's a really good comparison if he starts to hit that 3 shot.
Yeah, Oklahoma City has great young talent, but they don't really have much in the way of veteran leadership that can, move them into a winning mentality, and they don't want to be in a winning mentality right now. They, as an organization, this is the path that they've decided to take. But I mean, this is and the Hornets are sort of opposite in that way, in that JB really relies so heavily on veteran experience this season, because it seems his singular focus this year is to put a winning season together, a playoff season together, and possibly a playoff competitive team. And so that's why we've seen him shorten up the rotation. That's why, he mentioned possibly looking at Book Night a few games ago, because they were a little short on offense off the bench without Kelly. But he didn't, because they didn't really necessarily need it in that game. And he's not going to go to Book Night until it's absolutely necessary, because he is depending on players that he knows can produce and knows that they understand the NBA game on a very intimate level.
Another thing I'm looking forward to, guys, is a nice, tasty point guard matchup, and especially with LaMelo kind of bouncing back from a weird triple-double bad game. How does he match up against Shea? It's almost like every night he's going up against another young hotshot guard, but this one should be fun.
Yeah, by the way, just real quickly, saying Shea was on a tear, he kind of ended that against the Spurs in the most recent game, 5 of 21 from the field, only 13 points. Like, it's not been a great season for him. It's crazy how much he gets at the free throw line. I mean, he gets there. He lives at the free throw line. That's the only thing that has really helped him out a lot. Besides
maybe LaMelo can take some notes on that, or any Hornet. How about that, Doug?
Yeah, for sure. You would like to see those numbers go up for the Charlotte Hornets. So we'll see if they can get a win against Oklahoma City tonight and continue this impressive stretch from Charlotte, even defensively. We'll see if they can hold OKC maybe to under 100 points, something close to that. They've been playing a lot better here in the last couple of weeks, I should say. All right, that'll do it for Locked On Hornets. Thanks again for joining us on the Locked On Podcast Network. Make sure your second listen is Locked On Bets, hosted by your boy Q, with expert analysis from Lee Sterling. Thanks to David Walker for joining us on Fun Friday. Thanks to Doug Branson, always, for helping out with the show. And thanks to you guys for hopping in the chat and listening to us, also checking us out on YouTube. Appreciate it, and we'll talk with you again on Monday.